Class, welcome to week 13. You have made it quite far in the course. I hope each of you are safe. I hope you're not stir crazy if you are in a situation like most of the world where you are at home for very long periods of time. This week is quite involved. Week 14 is going to be very straightforward, very simple, not very demanding. It's going to give you time, I hope, to focus on finals if you have taken other courses, or just have a simple wrap up to the course. It's really just taking a look back on what you've done. Week 13, however, is a little bit more involved and closer to what I would consider a final for the course, even though there's no real final, no test for this course. This is just a little bit more work than next week. So I'm gonna excuse me, I'm gonna try and take time to walk you through these assignments to make sure you're prepared for this week. We will be focusing most of the week on link building and Google Analytics. Those are the two topics this week. So let's start with ranking and link building. And if you'll recall, when we went through our basic search engine optimization assignment, we talked a little bit about backlinks or link building. And the idea behind this is that the more websites that point to your website, the more Google will see you as an authority on a subject or as an important website. And so link building is a key strategy in search engine optimization, because the more links you have pointing to your website from other websites, the higher you'll rank, the more traffic you'll get to your website. So there's some guidance here on how link building is developed. It's not something that just happens. It can happen organically, but websites are much more successful as they intentionally develop links and reach out to other websites and try to develop links. And there's a few strategies around that. You'll find that your website fills a need for other sites. You may find that some of their links are broken as they have tried to refer to other sites, and your website could fill that need. And so there's some strategy around it. And the point of this assignment is to map out that strategy. And so part one is who will do the link building, and when will it happen? What will you do and how will you do it? And then finally, where will the links be gathered? And it's really about setting out a basic link building strategy. So that is that's your first assignment, is to add that strategy into a Word document. Just make sure it has all those components to it. You'll have your discussion board around link building, and then we'll jump into Google Analytics. This prepare assignment and then subsequent quiz are distinct assignments for a couple reasons. I mentioned in my introductory letter to the course that the assignments in the course don't really have a right or wrong answer. It's about developing the plan, developing the theory, and thinking through how you'll develop a business, marketing plan, legal strategy, etc. These two assignments are distinct from that, where there are correct and incorrect assignments, as we teach you how to go a little bit more in depth into Google Analytics. So take some time to walk through this video, Google Analytics for beginners, and then core analysis techniques. There's just a lot of good information about how to get to the core of what Google Analytics is telling you, because there's so much information in Google Analytics. You want to pare that down to what is important to you and then be able to make decisions off of that. So to do that, you'll go through a number of questions in this assignment, but please pay attention to this. You will be using the Google Analytics demo account, because there's not going to be you won't have on your analytics account all of this data necessarily. This is going to get into some really specific questions. What percentage of visitors were returning visitors to the store's website in January. Which age group views the site most? And as you are just developing your website, you may not have answers to all of these. So please do not use your website's data for this. You're going to go to this demo account, and I'm going to show you right now. If you click on this link, it's going to pull up this page in Google that walks you through what a demo account is and how to access the demo account. There's this big link here that says Access Demo Account. So you can read all the information about what the demo account is, and essentially Google has put together an analytics account that says if it takes you to this Google Analytics account as if you had developed a website and had all this data coming in. And I'm going to shrink the page so you can see it a little bit better. So you can see all the data that's come in, and you can see the date up here. So Google keeps this up month after month, day after day, as if this is a real account. So you can come in here and play with the data and see what it's going to look like when you have a lot of traffic to your website and more robust data. You will change this date to January of 2017. That is really key, because otherwise all your data will be off. So January 1 to January 31 of 2017 is what you want to change the date to. And then you'll have, if I move this over, you'll have on the left here all of the information to access that will give you the data here to answer. Let me go back to our class page. That'll give you answer to all of this here, all of these questions. Now that is a lot you're going to have to cover, and there's one aspect of this, one additional aspect that makes this particular assignment distinct in the course. Once you've answered those questions and taken your shot at it, so please go through these on your own, then watch this video, and then finally on this assignment you are permitted to post your answers to the week 13 discussion board and talk about the answers you found and talk to your classmates about what might be right and wrong. So together you can whittle down the answers to these questions, and that way you'll have a lot of support to go through these questions. Please go through them on your own and develop answers as best you can, and then go ahead and post to that discussion board. Then you can turn in your assignment once you've had that discussion with your classmates. Then next, this quiz is going to be very similar. So you have your discussion board where you'll post those answers and discuss how they came out, and then you'll go to the quiz, Google Analytics for Beginners. And in here, if you go to details here, you'll only have one chance to take the quiz. But this will go through questions very similar to what you answered in the Google Analytics Prepare assignment. But you'll set the month to June 2017. And then you'll run through the quiz. So make sure it's set to June 1, 2017, June 30th to 2017, using that same demo account. And you can go through and take the quiz for this week. So again, those are distinct assignments. There are right and wrong answers to each of those. Take your time in that Prepare assignment to really understand how Google Analytics works, and that quiz will be a little bit simpler for you. So those are the Google Analytics questions and assignments, a little distinct from what you've done in the past. Let's talk through Project 5. Project 5, I hope, is much more straightforward and simple, much more simple than Project 4. Project 4 is a great assignment to help you kind of get in depth into your website, how to optimize it and how to improve it, and really get into your ad campaign. What Project 5 is going to do is take that approach to your website, but in a much simpler fashion. You'll go to a site called WooRank, And WooRank is a website that tells you how well you've done in search engine optimization and gives you advice for what else you can do. And so they essentially run those bots, those crawlers over your site just like Google does, and gather similar information, but they're going to come back to you and give you some suggestions for how you can improve it. Now, remember, when you use WooRank, you'll click on that and you'll enter your URL in there, and that's how it knows, how the website knows what site to analyze. But you get one WooRank site per week. And so if you enter the wrong URL, or if you do a different website than your own, you won't be able to enter your true URL for another week. Or you'd have to go to a computer on a completely different site to use it again. So make sure you're putting in your correct URL into this WooRank site the first time. Then it's that WooRank site will pull up a site on their website that will give you all of this information about your website. What you'll do is you'll take that link and you'll paste it onto an Excel workbook. Then write down whatever ranking you gave. So WooRank gives you a number that says you're 25.8 or 65.3, whatever it is. You need to include that number in your Excel workbook. You can copy and paste it. You can type it in, whatever is easiest for you. Then list 5 high impact changes to your site, or 10 low impact changes, or a combination of the two. So WooRank will tell you, here's some high impact changes you can make, or here's some low impact changes. There's some mid-tier impact changes. Think of it almost on a point system. If you think of high impact changes as 10 points and low impact changes as 5 points, medium impact changes are in there at 7.5, something like that. You want to get to 50 points of impact changes. That's how you can think about that. Because the instructions here don't really consider these mid-tier impact changes. And those are the components I look for. Those are the 3 I've got to have for this project: is the URL from WooRank that can take me to your site with this information, then the actual WooRank score, and then those impact changes, whether they're high impact or low impact. And then that's it. Now, it's optional to implement those changes. I highly encourage you to do that. It's interesting to watch, because then you can go back in a week after you've made those changes, put in your URL again, and see if your score has changed. So it's something. It's really a great activity to do week over week, or maybe every month. If you're really focused on search engine optimization, a site like that can really help you get ahead of the game. So to finish the week, of course, you'll have your reflection, and then the end of course evaluation. Please take time to fill that out. I make changes, as I mentioned this before, in our midweek, or excuse me, our mid-course evaluation. I make changes every year based on student feedback. I try and do things differently each year to make the course better for you. So please make sure to fill that out. I would love to hear your feedback on what's going right, what's not going well, what we can do better, and then from there, hopefully, we can make some meaningful changes. I'm going back to Project 5, meaningful changes for students moving forward. I apologize for the length of this one. I try and keep these screencasts succinct, but there's a lot in this week, and I want to make sure you're all prepared. And so I went a little bit more in depth. Please reach out if there's anything on here that's not making sense to you or that's not clicking, and I will look forward to your submissions for this week. Thanks, everyone.